Welcome back, I'm George, and in this video, I'm going to show you the first things you need to do when you get your new Nintendo Switch 2. Now, first things first, one of the most essential things to do on a Nintendo Switch is to come to the settings, then swipe down to themes, which is all the way at the bottom, there we go, and select our preferred aesthetic. Unfortunately, we can only choose between white or black. So essentially white would make everything look clear with a white background. And then if we choose dark, which is what I had before, the entire system is going to have a dark gray background. Now, that being said, another essential thing on the Nintendo Switch is to know how to access the quick menu because, of course, every possible setting you want to change is going to be on the Settings app. But sometimes you don't really want to leave your game and come to the Settings app and then leave the Settings app and go back to your game. You want to quickly change a specific setting. And in that case, what you have to do is to tap and hold on the home button right here to access a quick menu that's going to give you access to your brightness, your volume, and essentially everything you would want to change while you're playing games. Now, another big issue people have with the Nintendo Switch is the A/B functionality, because on the other two consoles, on PlayStation and Xbox, the enter button is right here at the bottom, and the back button is right here on the right side. But as you probably know, on Nintendo it is switched, so the enter button is the A button, and the back button is B. But thankfully, there is a quick way to swap the functionality, so it is not different as opposed to your other consoles. You have to tap on Settings, then you have to swipe down to Controllers and Accessories right here, and then swipe all the way to the bottom right here to swap A and B, and then turn it on. Automatically, your B is going to act as Enter, and A is going to act as a back button, like with every other console you have. Now, also here on the Settings and on the Controllers and Accessories tab, if you swipe all the way up, you'll see a tab called Update Controllers, because yes, you actually have to update the individual Joycons on the Nintendo Switch. This is not something you're supposed to do on a monthly or even yearly basis, but every once in a while, when you remember, it is nice to tap right here and download the latest update for your controllers. There we go, because it is going to make your Switch work better. Now, also here on the settings, if we swipe all the way down to System, we will find two very interesting options to save or improve our battery life. The first one is called System Battery Percentage, which is for some reason going to be turned off by default, so you can't really see the actual percentage of battery you have on the Switch. So I recommend you tap on it to have the percentage. And second, you have stop charging at around 80 to 90%, which is also going to be turned off by default, and that I highly, highly recommend you turn on, especially if you're going to leave the Switch docked for a long period of time, which is likely the case when you're not playing games. This essentially is going to prevent the Switch to go up to 100%, which is not good for battery longevity, so you will have a healthy battery on your Switch for a much longer time. Now, also here on the System tab, you'll find a tab called System Lock, which is also going to be turned off by default. But if you turn it on, you'll be able to create a password or PIN for your Switch, so only you can enter the console. In this case, you can access 1 to 8 with the left joystick, and then you can access 9 and 0 with the Y and X buttons. If your Switch is around random people and you don't want those people to enter the console, this is a great feature. Now, that being said and moving on, this doesn't really have a lot to do with the Switch as a console, but if you plug your Switch with a USB-C cable onto your phone, you'll see that it automatically will start charging your phone. It took a little bit of time there to start charging, but there you go. You'll start charging your phone or anything else, your AirPods, your anything, with your Nintendo Switch. It is essentially a console and a battery bank at the same time. But anyways, that being said, let's get back right here to the Settings app and then swipe down to accessibility right here. Because here we have one of the coolest features you can enable on your Nintendo Switch. If you swipe down to zoom right here, you'll be able to quickly zoom in on the display by double tapping the home button on the right side. And the coolest thing about it is that you can navigate it with your Joy-Cons, but you can also zoom in and out and move around with your fingers as if it was a picture on an iPhone. And this not only works on your menus, it also works on games. So let's tap right here on Mario Wonder. Let's then tap 2 times right here. And automatically we can start just playing around with the video game. This is actually the game working. And then maybe take a picture by tapping on this button right here. But anyways, that being said, one of the most essential and requested things to learn how to do with a new Nintendo Switch is how to pair your AirPods or wireless speakers in general. For this, all you have to do is to tap right here on the Settings app, then tap on Bluetooth Audio, then tap on Pair Device. But first, of course, we have to enable pairing mode on the buds, which in my case, I think it's done. There it is by double tapping on the front. Then, of course, we have to tap on Pair Device. So it looks for Bluetooth accessories. And then eventually it will find your AirPods or Bluetooth earbuds. And yes, I know, they're called Brad Pitt. If you've watched my AirPods Pro 3 video, you know why they're called Brad Pitt. Now, that being said, and moving on, another really cool thing you can do with the Nintendo Switch is to both take screenshots of what's on your display, but also videos, a screen recording of what's happening on your Switch. So first, to take a screenshot, all you have to do is to tap this button right here. There we go. And automatically, if we come to the Gallery app, the screenshot will be right there. This is the screenshot that I just took 5 seconds ago. And then another option is to, do things. In this case, I'm not really playing any games, but imagine I was playing a video game and then just tap and hold on the button. It says I can't capture video right now. Let's do it on the Mario Wonder loading screen. Tap and hold. There we go, and it's already captured the video. It is also going to be, of course, on your Gallery app, as you can see right here. So it is essentially intended to capture clips of funny moments or interesting things that happen on your playing sessions. Now, that being said, something a lot of people get confused with the Nintendo Switch is that when they tap on the power button right here, they think that they are turning off the console. They are turning off the Switch. But in reality, they are only turning off the display. The actual console is still turned on and working normally, so it is still going to burn a lot of battery life. If you really want to turn off the console so it doesn't burn any battery life, it is completely turned off, what you have to do is you have to tap and hold on the power button until you see a menu right here. It is going to take a couple seconds, and then you want to tap on Power Options and Power Off. So it is not burning any battery life, and you can once again leave it there for as much time as you want. Now, that being said, let me actually detach the controllers to show you. I'm pretty sure you already know how to do that by pressing on this latch right here on the back of each Joy-Con. If for whatever reason you end up losing one of these Joy-Cons on your house and you want to find it, all you have to do is to tap on the little Joy-Con right here on the home page. Then you want to tap on Search for Controllers, and then you want to tap on the controller you're looking for, whether it is the left one or the right one. You're probably not hearing any sounds because it's a very subtle vibration, but it is going to make it is going to be noticeable if you're in front of it, I guess. It should be a little louder, everything said, but it is, I guess, going to be enough for you to locate it if it's on a drawer or if it's behind a desk or something you can't really see it. You do this. And also, something interesting is that on the controllers page, you can also see each Joy-Con's battery life. In this case, it is not going to show you the exact percentage, unfortunately, but it is going to give you a rough estimate of how much battery they have, which, if you use it as a handheld, should always be 100%. Now, that being said, one of the coolest things you can do with a Nintendo Switch 2 is to turn one of your Joy-Cons into a mouse, which sounds kind of crazy, but you can actually do that with the Nintendo Switch 2. All you have to do is to grab this little accessory right here with the same color as your Joy-Con, and then match the plus on the top with the plus on the Joy-Con, and then I think you just have to snap it like this. Once that's done, as you can see, it's pretty crazy. You'll see a little cursor on the Switch, which you can use to navigate around the console, even scroll your games. Of course, it's not going to be the most ergonomic mouse. It's not something that's going to beat an actual mouse that's meant to be a mouse. But for some games that require or are ideally played with a mouse system, this can save your gaming experience. This is a very big difference as opposed to having to tinker with complex menus using a joystick, which if you're a gamer, you know that's not fun. Now, that being said, if you want to take the accessory off, remember you want to start from the top. There it is. Because if you start from the bottom, you'll see it is essentially impossible. You can get frustrated. You can pull too hard and break it. So remember to pull from the top. Now, this next setting is not for people who play exclusively on handheld mode, but if you tap on settings, then scroll down to audio right here, and then tap on TV sound, I highly recommend you tap on automatic, because if your TV has a stereo sound, of course, it is going to work fine by default, but if you have an even better 5.1 surround sound system, you won't really take advantage of it if it's set to stereo, which is the default option. So I recommend you set it at automatic, so it automatically switches between stereo or 5.1, depending on what you have, so you get the best audio experience. Then also here on the settings, if you tap on user, you can skip the user selection screen, which is the very annoying, you'll see it right here, user selection screen. Even if you only have one user, it is going to show up many times when you want to turn on an app or a game on your Switch. So once again, here on users, you can skip the user selection, so you can automatically enter whatever app you try to use or game you want to play without having to select yourself all the time. And last but definitely not least, also here on settings, if you scroll all the way down to system, you'll find an option all the way at the bottom called data clear options. This is what you want to do if you want to give your Switch to someone else or sell it, because it is going to clear, well, whether it is just the cache or keyboard history or the entire Switch right here on Restore Factory Settings. If you tap right here, I don't want to do it, it is going to automatically delete everything on the console and set it back to default settings, showing you the initial setup screen so someone else can enter their data and start using the console. But anyways, that being said, I think that's everything you needed to know to get properly started with your new Nintendo Switch 2. If you have any questions regarding anything that I said in the video, please tell me down below. And if not, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again very soon. Peace.